Hey everybody, Red October. Today is November the 7th, Monday. So just some closing thoughts before the election ends, and just my thoughts as far as after the fact, if Hillary does win the election. First of all, let me say, if there's anything you want to say on social media of any nature towards Hillary, or any comments of such nature, I would say probably make them now, because come Wednesday, November the 9th, if she is president, it may be seen on social media as threatening or terroristic, which I would never do. I'm just kind of forewarning some of you guys and gals out there that if you have something to say it now, while she's not the president. I'm still keeping my faith and hope alive that Donald Trump will pull through some miraculous way. Clinton has stacked up the cards against Trump with her star power and calling upon actors, singers, sports people. She's really playing that whole that violin tune that, you know, I'm with you and you're with me and we're the same, which we all know is bullshit. So say what you will today, even up to tomorrow's decision. Secondly, as far as my final thoughts go, and just that if she is elected, which again I hope she's not, I would say start focusing on your being prepared. I know we say that a lot. I'm not going to sit here and say that I have thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds, and I'm stacked up with survival food and generators, etc., etc. I do what I can with what I have, and hope for the best. Because even the most prepared person is not guaranteed to survive the chaos of an SHTF event, or any event, EMP, whatever you may want to call it. But I think being prepared at least with something is better than nothing. I'm sure there's going to be last minute gun buying. There's going to be last minute people hitting the ammo shells, because, you know, if you have friends like I do, and you know, we kind of talk among ourselves and say, you know, this and that, there you can rest assured there's plenty of other people out there that are thinking the same thing as you and I. They're thinking the same mindset that, hey, I better go hit the store one more time, whether it's to buy food, ammo, guns, survival preparedness stuff. They're thinking the same thing too. The people that are not into preparedness are going to wait till the last minute, like they always do, to go get the batteries and flashlights and water, etc. So tonight I'm going to make sure that I'm topped off as far as on water. Go fill up all the jugs, and hope for the best for this country. I think at this point everything's in motion. The cards are they're gonna be what they are tomorrow, come Wednesday, or I guess Tuesday night. I'm sure the world will be watching, not just Americans, but the world will be watching to see who's going to become president of the United States. And it's sad to say that, you know, if Hillary does win, which we all are pretty much like-minded folks here on this channel, know that it's going to be another 4 more years of what we have now, and it could be worse. Some are saying yes, it probably will be worse. I just can't imagine things getting better the way they are. And here's the kicker for me. I'm okay with a party being in that fits, I guess, my beliefs, my goal for the people, by the people, and so forth. But when a party does not show any changes to the promises they've made, after a while I'm thinking, you know what, you're not cutting it, you're not doing it, let's try the other party. Not to be flip-flop or say, hey, you know, one is better than the other, but I think change is good. I think that's the whole dynamics of why we have a Republican and Democratic side. Because when one side has been in office too long, it's time for there to be a change so we can mix it up. And that's a good thing. Now, because of the long-term politicians' terms that tend to just stay in office for years and years and years, 20, 30 years, they tend to be in this buddy-buddy system or this corrupt system that you and I, average common folks, can never hold office like them. And there should have been some type of limited term set up years and years ago, that does not allow individuals to be in the political arena maybe more than 2, 4, or 6 years. I think anything longer than that, it leads to corruption. And I've been around state and government for a lot of years, so I understand the dynamics of how it works. And there's good and bad things to a system, just like any system out there. There has to be checks and balances, and there has to be a point to say, look, we have to do for the greater good of the common folk, the everyday working man and woman out there. Our country is just not that way anymore, and I don't want to sound like I'm making another video about, you know, us and this and that. It's just, these are just my final thoughts, because I think after the election's done, I'm done talking about Hillary. It is what it is. We just have to deal with it at that point. I don't have to like it, but I can at least say I didn't vote for her, and you as well. Things are just not the same anymore, and I think the more we come to grips that, hey, things have changed and it's just a new ball game, we can still hold on to what we have as far as our values and traditions as best as we can. We just don't live in that world that we all remembered. The third thing I want to say is, at what point, and I'm not talking about bug out, but at what point do we check out? At what point do we leave our home, as far as not just our home residence, our home as far as where we reside in this country? If you're anywhere in your state, your city, at what point do you find a new home location and say, hey, you know what, things that are bad or things have changed, where can we rebuild an ideal America as far as close as what we can remember? I really am starting to see, and I've been seeing this, but I'm really starting to see the only way to live as a free individual, a free human being in this country, and have whatever rights that are left, is to live out in the wilderness like the mountain men, live out in like in Alaska. That is a hard living for most of us, including myself. That would be a life-turning event. I think about, you know, I'd like to try that. I'd like to do that. I'd have to change a lot of my ways of what I eat, as far as what I like or don't like, to survive out there. I think it's doable. Can I say the same thing about my wife or kids? If they decide, hey, we want to, you know, move close to y'all or come visit you, it would definitely be a life-turning event that I don't know many people can do. I think I'd be willing to be open-minded to the change, but at what point do you just pack up your shit and say, you know what, we're moving out to the country, we're moving out to the wilderness, we're done with society? And many people have done that. Many people have just called it quits, quit their job, their office job, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, whatever it may be, and just said, I'm cashing in my retirement, we're going to go buy some property, and we're just going to live away from the city. Screw that. I think more and more people are finding that that's the only way to live their idea, America, their freedom, to be able to hold on to their guns, be able to shoot out on property somewhere away from populated areas. But at what point do you just pack up your stuff and say, we're moving our home, we're moving, we're starting over again? That is a question that each of you have to decide. I would love to move to the country. I've told my wife many times, I'm ready whenever you are. And, she'll be eligible to retire here in a couple of years, sooner than me. But I'm willing to, at this point, to say, you know what, the game has changed so much. I'm willing to call it quits, take what I can get out of the job I have now, or invest it in the job, and just finish out the remaining of our lives as free as we can be, as free from the city as possible. Because I hate living in the city. I hate being this close to the city. We don't even live in the city. I just hate being that close to the city. I'm just sick of the hustle and bustle, the BS, the politics involved, dealing with the public as far as just nonsense. I am ready to change my life. But me wanting that and thinking that is something totally different than versus doing it. And I think that anyone that decides to move out to the country, away from the city, you're going to have to adapt and change as well. The things that you may like electricity, getting online, playing computers, going to Taco Bell, Taco Bell, getting a quick meal, whatever it may be, you're going to have to sacrifice that. Because in a SHTF that we all talk. Okay, sorry, I got a phone call. But in closing statement, just wanted to say that you're going to have to change yourself and say, I'm willing to give up this lifestyle that we have now in order to move out to the country and have some freedoms that at least come close to the idea of America that I remember, that we remember. All right, guys. It's going to be a interesting day tomorrow. I think all eyes and ears are going to be on the campaign to the presidency, and whatever happens. Say what you will now before it becomes considered terroristic or insulting to the president. So take care. Red out.